Om Shri Ganeshaya Nama, Madhavaya Nama, Keshavaya Nama, Narayanaya Nama, Om Hara Hara Mahadev, Shiva Shankara Shambhu. One moment, please. Devotees, we are continuing where we left off last week, dealing with the importance of sound in praying and sound in sung. One moment, just some problems with the Zoom. Yeah, one moment, please. Yeah. So we left off last week in this wonderful experience of dealing with harmonious sound, because the whole science of dharma is based on praying and singing, but sometimes without us being taught of the importance of the feeling of the sound, not listening to the sound or hearing to the sound, but for the sound to have the right impact, then we need to feel it on what we call a body scale. So the cells in the body must feel it, the hair on the skin must feel it. So as we go forward today, let us start with our first mantra today. And like all the other mantras we do, we will try to let it have greater impact by reciting it 3 times. So this must be a learning process as well. And the benefit of this mantra is that whenever you are in a group situation, it means everything is done at a very harmonious level. So let us start chanting this beautiful mantra, and I will make the font a bit bigger so all can see on the screen. So let us start. Om. 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 Mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Again. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. So, what situations shall we have this mantra make its impact? Wherever there is a group of people, this mantra should be the first mantra that is chanted, because this mantra is saying, O Lord, protect the head of the family as well as the whole family. O Lord, protect the guru as well as all of the shishyas. If you are in a business meeting, O Lord, protect the chairman of the company and all of the employees of the company. Why you need the protection of the Lord? Because Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahano Bhunaktu, which means, O Lord, because you have protected us, may you nourish both of us. So which means is that there is always an exchange of goodness and good wishes, that each and every one of the participants must be blessed with strong knowledge or good knowledge. And why and what happens when we are blessed with good knowledge? Saha viryam karva vahai tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahai. Devotees, there is nothing more destructive than any form of disharmony. And that is why the last three words of this mantra says, Ma Vidvisha Vahai. O Supreme Lord, let not have any misunderstanding. Let there be freedom from the obstacles. So sit down, as we always advise, around the dinner table with your wife, with your children. You hold hands and you said, today we commit that let our harmony get even greater. Let our protection of the Lord be super, super more protection. So in this way, we feel, although we are talking, right, the other party who is listening is actually feeling the blessings of the Lord. So this is beautiful, and this has the meaning which we have done before. So what we are saying to go forward, but what is the generally accepted definition of the Supreme Lord? So what we are saying is that, look, we pray to the Supreme Lord, but which Supreme Lord? What can that God do? What are the qualities of this Lord? Let us say we are praying to God, or we are praying to Bhagwan Vishnu. Then what do we expect to be the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? In this case, because we are Vedantis, we are Sanatan Dharmis, we says that the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Divinity is Bhagwan Vishnu, especially in what we call the age of Kali Yuga. In Satyug and Dwapar, many of the devotees that meditated on Bhagwan Shiva to get enormous power, phenomenal power. Then in Treta Yuga, the meditation of the Supreme Being changed to Bhagwan Vishnu, as in the case of Bhakta Prahalad, or in the case of the battles of the Mahabharata. Everyone places Bhagwan Vishnu or Narayan at a very high level of priority to be the Supreme Being. So if you're praying to the Supreme Being, what is our thought direction? So when we look outside and we start to pray, what powers or what thoughts shall we engage? So let us go. Supreme level divinity is the purest form of divinity, neither light nor dark, but rather is in perfect balance, with both forever in limitless harmony with each other, forever transcending duality. My brothers and sisters, I have highlighted in red an important part of the definition of the Supreme Lord that we are all praying to, and with whom we want to be blessed with this quality of forever transcending duality. In Sanskrit or in the Bhagavad Gita, the word is raga and dvesha. Likes and dislikes in whatever form, hate and love, sweet and sour, criticism and praise. These are just a limited amount of the traps we get into when we forever have not transcend duality. So at a human level, we have so much hate, we have so much love, but these are all on what we call on a human body. If we really want to transcend our divinity transcends our animalistic nature or our man identification while having this lifetime, then we really have to work hard at being calm. Somebody could abuse you, and it's okay. Let them abuse you. Someone could praise you. It's okay. It's okay to be praised, but it's not going to go to your head, or it should not, what we call, go to your head and affect your behavior. In terms of what we do in our journey of life, what the mantra says, the charity and the help that you give should be forgotten immediately. But the dawn that you receive should never be forgotten. And this is such an important concept. If we are going to feel calm, we are going to feel that we are indeed divine beings, then we have to practice, the absence of these dualities. No raga, no dvesha. So we are saying we want to pray to this Lord who in his purest form of divinity has no perceptible quality but is pure consciousness. That Lord should also have what we call absolute power. If this God who we are going to pray to is going to change the world, then this Lord has the power of absoluteness. So abilities and powers with the concept which they resolve around at its maximum level without any limitations or restrictions to their power. And it is a very important element in when we meditate. There is no murtis, there is no person, there is no picture, because we are trying to connect with the pure absolute consciousness. And this takes us to, when we sit down and our eyes close, that this power become available to us. We describe the Supreme God or the Supreme Consciousness or the absolute power as being the Almighty Lord or Almighty God. Although it's a Western term, English language, so we got to say he's Bhagwan again. So Bhagwan is Almighty. So if Bhagwan has this quality of Almighty, you expect that this Ganesh Bhagwan that we are praying to, this Lakshmi Narayan we are praying to, Durga Maharani we are praying to, that the power to generate enormous amounts of energy to crush, damage, and or manipulate any and everything in the surrounding areas of human and life habitation. So this really goes to the power of God, and that is the God we pray to, and which is the most basic mantra that you will use to pray to the Supreme Lord, that doesn't have what we call a name mentioned. And let us go to this simple of mantras. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva. I've taken this from another lecture I gave. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva. And all of us, now the question is always asking, Panditji or Bhai, where or what is the source of this mantra? And this source of the mantra is from one of we call the Param Bhakt, one of the greatest, what we call mothers that ever walked on this soil, that lost 99 of her 100 sons, and she was still able to bear up and walk. So this mantra was recited to Bhagwan Shri Krishna by Maharani Gandhari. And all of us who are familiar with the Mahabharata will know who Gandhari is. She was the mother of the Kauravas, devotees. And in praying to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, she recognized that Vasudeva could do whatever he willed. And she blamed him for, that you had this opportunity to stop the war, because she said, Krishna, that you could do what you want And of course, we knew that Shiv Shrap, Bhagwan Shri Krishna and his whole tribe, that just like how you have caused the loss of mine, yours will go the same way. But no one can, what we call, make a wish that would have any effect on Bhagwan Shri Krishna, because Bhagwan Shri Krishna is the sayer of the wish, the doer of the wish, and the recipient of the wish. So, this beautiful mantra came from the heart of Mataji herself, the Bhagwan Shri Krishna. And it is replicated many times again in the Mahabharata, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and this mantra is also again in the Vishnu Puran, glorifying Bhagwan Vishnu. So all of us in Kali Yuga or in Kali Yuga, yeah, would free ourselves from all of the burdens just by focusing on what we call the absolute Almighty Supreme Lord, known as Bhagwan Shri Krishna or Narayan, because this is what the Bhagavatam says and the Puranas and the Upanishad says. That let us be fair, let us go straight on to it. If you wish to be happy, then focus on the what we call the power of the Almighty Lord, as who has absolute power, who has supreme divinity, and who is the Almighty Lord. That Almighty in this context means the power to make the changes in this world and in this universe that is good for the creation of this world. So devotees, let us chant first this beautiful mantra, and then we will go back again to the power of this mantra. So let us do it beautifully. It is 4 lines. We start with Om. 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 Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhus cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. And we do it slowly now. One moment, please. Om Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhus cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. And you recite with me now. Om Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhus cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. And when we recite this mantra, which we normally do every day, maybe for the first 20 years of our life, and as we pass 20 years, we get forgetful of this mantra that has brought us through what we call infant school, primary school, secondary school, university, get us into our first job, and then we forget it. And then, as we say, then the problem starts. So let us go back to this mantra with the thought that you are summoning what we call the almighty power of this Lord to protect you and to look after you. You are summoning that God that has only Him and Him alone, and no other being has absolute power, has absolute energy, and has absolute knowledge to know what has to be done. So let us all read the meaning of this beautiful mantra, or resplendent creative energy. You reside with me as my strength and intellect. You are my mother, my father, my brother, and my friend. You are my knowledge and my only wealth. You are everything to me and the God of all gods. You're the Supreme Lord. And now, if we now go into what we call the depth of this mantra, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva. So we cannot be referring to what we call the mortal mother and father, because we are addressing the resplendent creative divinity. But here we are using the simile that, Lord, you are the provider in the same way that how my material mother provided me with milk and clothing and food and all of the comforts for sustenance. O Supreme Lord, all resplendent creative divinity, you provide care for this wonderful world in which we live. Then in the third line, you're making it quite clear that, look, you are my knowledge. And this is where knowledge is not a physical, it's not a material thing. But by virtue of the Lord's power, of Mata Saraswati's power, yeah, your intellect and your nervous system is blessed with this ability to learn more, to memorize more, to analyze more, to contribute more to this world in which we are living. So the essence of this mantra is, in simple terms, we are addressing and we are praying and we are acknowledging the unseen creative Lord that is, without saying and without making a lot of sound, provides us, his divine Atmic children, with what we want. Isn't this wonderful? Of course, you can go to the Murti of Bhagwan Sri Krishna, of Bhagwan Shankar, and we will offer our patram, our phalam, our toyam. We will offer all of that. But if we really want to make great progress and to make us a shining example of this world, then we have to tune in to what we call the superior consciousness of the supreme power that governs the energies of this world. So let us recite this mantra. Let us close our eyes as we do it, and let us start to make this connection with the supreme energy that will start to transform your life. Tvameva Mata. Om Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhus Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Again. Om Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhus Jasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Syavaju Ramachandra Ki Jai. And what the shlok reminds us, to use the word only. And this only can only be to that almighty, stupendous, all-powerful, supreme Lord with extraordinarily divine power. That means you, O Supreme Lord, you, O God, are my real mother. You are my real father. The one who gave birth to me is not my real mother. She is the mother of this material body. But you are a soul, and your real mother, father, and everything is the Lord or God itself. All your relationship are with the Supreme Lord alone. The soul is spiritual by nature, and its subject of interest is God, who is divine. If anything other than the divine enters your mind, it becomes an obstacle in reaching the state of exclusivity. So this is so important, that in this world that we live in, we are so diverted with the things that are ungodly or not God-like. We get problems with society, we get problems with work, we get problems with family, because we have not got what we call the divine love at the center of our life. You would say, Panditji, how can that solve my problem? Because when you start to radiate a divine radiation, all obstacles and all problems disappear. As the mantra says, enemies will become friends. Your foes will lay out the red carpet for you. So, by virtue of your divinity, as was exemplified by Mata Shabri in Aranyakand, in Ramayana, even the wild animals of the forest were placid in her ashram. So even danger becomes not danger. Unhappiness becomes what we call ananda, not happiness, but ananda, which is a perpetual state of bliss. And this is where these sessions are all about. If 1, 2, 3, 10, 12 of you can suddenly transcend this body consciousness and to see that, look, there is something bigger than this human body. There is a sky above you. There is a grass in the garden. There is a billions of sand on the beaches. There are billions of leaves all around us, that we need not go after anything that belongs to anyone else. So we need not what we call engage in any form of greed. You may be familiar that there are many stories regarding greed and dogs, because a dog does not like another dog to have a piece of what he's eating. And there is a story which we learned as kids, that there is a dog, he has a nice piece of meat in his mouth, and he's suddenly crossing a bridge over a stream. Mistake he made, he looks and saw his reflection in the water, but he thought that there was another dog in the stream that wanted what he had, so he barked, and as we know, what he had, he lost it, because he did not focus on what he had, and he was not what we call conscious that what he has was the only thing that was good for him. In another variation, there is a dog again, but he doesn't have anything in his mouth. But he sees a bird flying in the air, and he wants this bird. And he is chasing this bird, chasing this bird, chasing this bird to destroy it and kill it, and did not realize when he reached the edge of the cliff. And as the story goes, he did not know, and when he jumped, he fell over the cliff. What these stories are tells us, let us not be greedy. Let us not go for anything that someone has, whether it be a position, whether it be intellectual property, whether it be an opportunity. Let us always be benevolent and wish that every single being have what we call an abundance of opportunities. And to hammer home the power of taking the Supreme Lord as the mother is undertaken in this wonderful conversation between Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lakshman. When Bhagwan Sri Ram asked the question, he says, "Oh Lakshmanji, who am I to you?" And the same question was asked to Hanumanji. But here Lakshmanji replied to Bhagwan Sri Ram, who is Maryada Purushottam, the form of the Supreme Creator. What did Lakshmanji says? And all of us should be in the position of Lakshman. O Sri Ram, you, O Lord, are my father. You are my mother. You are my brother. You are my everything. The rest, who we see in flesh and blood, like Raja Dashrath and Mata Kaushalya, are not mine. Or in the case of Lakshmanji, Mataji Sumitra. These relationships are material and confined to this material body. This is such a strong statement that Lakshman said to Sri Ram, who is the embodiment and personification of dignity and respect. Devotion and respect to mother and father and elders were his principal ideals. But Lakshman said, "I'm not ready to accept this principle, and my ideal is only one, Sri Ram. My material father and mother are growing old and will soon die. So they are not my eternal parents." And let us sit back here and analyze what Lakshman is trying to teach us. We look beyond the materialism of this world, that things that continue when the five elements return everything to dust or to vapor or to steam. And when we sit down now and says, well, I am truly eternal, and I'm going to make my eternal consciousness count, and therefore I'm going to seek the blessings of Bhagwan Vishnu to give me what we call the intelligence and the inspiration. So go on to Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Bhagwan Shri Krishna explains that the one who comes under my shelter alone and surrenders completely to me, I will free him from the clutches of Maya. So devotees, this is a beautiful stuti or a shloka that explains our real relationship with the world that we live in. We have many people around us. We have our wives, our husband, but they are not Bhagwan. We have this beautiful relationship, but we must recognize that only the Lord, by virtue of him being Almighty, makes him the Almighty Lord. Let us go back again. Om. Let's chant Tvameva Mata, devotees, and focus all of your lifelong spiritual energy to the real divinity who is your real mother, who will protect you when your material mother leave this world. When your father have gone and everyone is gone, you are still under the care and protection of the Supreme Lord of this mantra. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhus Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhus Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. So before we close our discussion of this mantra, you may have question from your grandchildren or your young children. But mommy, I thought you were God, or I thought you were the God. Matri Deva Bhava. So true it is. But this is when you have to use the opportunity to educate your little ones that, oh beta, oh beti, that I am only doing the service of that Supreme Lord. I am His servant. I've been put in trust to bring you up and to look after you. Because if I was not here and you had to go and fend for yourself, your life would have been most sad and unkind. So all of us must be very honest to know we must not falsely take the power of the Lord, and be honest in our declaration that the giver of Tvameva Vidya, Dravinam Tvameva, the giver of your house, the giver of your knowledge, the giver of your wealth, is indeed the Supreme Paramatma, the Supreme Brahm. Boliye Jagadambe Mata Ki Jai. And so, devotees, last week we had a very wonderful topic that dealt again with the focusing on how we use sound to have an impact on our lives and the lives of all. As the studies go, there isn't a problem that's using the right sound cannot solve. And today there is so much study in what we call sound healing. And let's go through just a few lines of what we discussed last week. If we accept that sound vibration and know that vibration touches every part of our physical being, then we understand that sound is heard not only through our ears, but through every cell in our body. But also because sound, the vibrations of the sound is like what we call the waves of a stone that is thrown in the ocean or in a lake. The waves continue and continue into infinity. So when we make a sound, remember this sound never dies, but this sound vibrates. And therefore it is very critical that the sound that we make are blissful sound, because sooner or later the sound, when the cycle is finished, returns back to you. So what you want, that the sound that you make must heal, it must purify. One reason sound heals on a physical level, it's because it so deeply touches and transforms us on the emotional and spiritual planes. Sound can redress imbalances on every level of psychological functioning and can play a positive role in the treatment of virtually any medical disorder. And this is so important, so you can say, well, look, why are we dealing with medical disorder? The only reason why, unless we have good health, we can't meditate, we can't focus, we can't pray. So therefore we must use all of the tools that the universe has given us, to create divine songs around yourself. And one of the most beautiful divine songs is when you take up your piano or your organ or your harmonium and you chant the sound of Om. So let us spend a few minutes, maybe 1 minute, just to chant Om. Let us feel the vibrations now, moving from the tip of our big toe through our body, through the base of our spine, the intestines of our body, the pancreas of the body, the spleen, the liver, the lungs, the stomach. Let this sound heal and purify. So when this hour is finished, you will feel the tangible benefits of purity. Let us chant, devotees. Om Your turn. Inhale nicely, not too deep. Exhale and chant Om. Devotees, these are just some of those who didn't join us last week, of some of the instrument that can be used to make sacred sound. And every dharmic home should at least have a bell, or a singing, or at least a bell or a pair of majira that you can chant with and at least hear the tinkling of these beautiful instruments. And as time goes on and you go on your journey of sound healing, do get your hand on a nicely tuned singing bowl. One day we will have some demonstration of singing bowls. So let us now go and chant and bless our own self with this beautiful mantra. We will skip the meanings tonight because we want to enjoy the niceness of these vibrations. Let us start with Om. 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 Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Ganesh Aye Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Mahavishnu Namaha. Om Mahavishnuve Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kasyat Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kasyat Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kasyat Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So devotees, as you chant these mantras with eyes closed and the meaning embedded in your heart, you what we call push out, or you push forward all of your energies that for this world in which we live in to be at peace and to wish well, swasti, to all. No one must have any illness. And let us, go out of our way to see auspiciousness in all and to do good and to make sure all experience goodness. And if we do that, then the last line, I'd like to delete that line most times. May no one suffer or cause suffering or undergo suffering. So devotees try to live a noble life. Many times people will tempt you to be bad, will tempt you to do the wrong thing. They will aggravate you to such a way that even if you're a peaceful person, you may want to participate in an argument or retaliate. Always use your intuition and says, I will walk away from the situation, because that which you are trying to instill in me will only cause unhappiness. Ganesh Baba Mantraha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarvada Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat Tanno Danti Prachodayat. We offer our namaskaram to Mata Saraswati. Om Saraswati Mahabhage Vidye Kamal Lochine Vishwarupe Vishalakshi Vidyam Dehi Namastute. One more time. Saraswati Mahabhage Vidye Kamal Lochine Vishwarupe Vishalakshmi Vidyam Dehi Namastute. Vidyam Dehi Namastute. Vidyam Dehi Namastute. Devotees, as we move on, you're seeing the focus on whatever we are doing is to give you the knowledge for what we call vivek or discernment. Chant these mantra and it will change your way of living perceptibly. Next mantra. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. One more time. And as you close your eyes, feel that Devi Saraswati is enveloping your whole body. You're actually within the being of Mata Saraswati, being blessed from all directions. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Devotees, we now chant these dedication again to Bhagwan Ganapati and Devi Saraswati. We do it every week so that one day when you are really, really in a tight spot and you really need the obstacles to be removed, remember this beautiful shloka. Varnanam artha sanganam rasanam chandra samapi mangalanam chakartaru vande vani vinayaku lokabhiramam ranarangadhiram rajivanetram raghuvansanatam karunyarupam karunakaram tam Shri Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadye Om Shri Ramachandraye Namaha Neelam Bhuja Shyamal Komalangam Sita Samarupitu Bhama Bhagam Pano Mahashayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvansanatam Neelam Bhuja Shyamal Komalangam Sita Samarupitu Bhamavagam Pano Mahashayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvansanatam. Devotees, these are beautiful what we call mantras dedicated to the supreme almighty consciousness of the Lord, with form and without form. But these mantras have what we call million more benefit when you express these mantras to the full resplendent divine creation of that supreme Lord. Mahamantra. Divine. Let's chant, devotees. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Together. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Devotees, as you chant this beautiful name of the Supreme Lord Narayana, may you close your eyes and let the Lord that resides in every cell of your body comes out of your body that He's already in and sprinkles the pure Amrit upon you before occupying again all the wondrous spaces between the cells of your body. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. O Supreme Lord, O Supreme magnanimous ruler of this universe, O emitter of all energies, the mantra meaning number 2, O Lord, please engage me in the loving service of Shri Krishna, the creator of this universe. Here, Hare means the nature or the energy of the Lord, and Bhagwan Shri Krishna is that name specially given, Krishna, of the Lord who possesses all supreme qualities. And this is the most important, that who we call Krishna is the Lord Almighty. He has the supreme power, supreme energy to take care and to do whatever he pleases with this whole world. Devotees, let us chant this mantra, and then we will spend 3 minutes doing a Hanuman Chalisa. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Shri Guru Charana Sarora Raja Nij Man Mukura Sudhari Varno Raghuvara Vimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavana Kumar Balburi Vidya Dehu Mahi Harahu Kalesha Vikar. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजाग रामदूत यतुलित बलरामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत महावीर बजरंगी कुमत निवार सुमत के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ वज और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साज शंकर सुवन केशरी नंद तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिवे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिवे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जराव भीम रूप धरि अस समारे रामचंद्र के काज समारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाये श्री रघुबीर शूर लाये रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बराई तुम मम प्रिया भरत संभाय सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कई श्रीपति कंठ लगावे संसारिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीस नारद सारद सहित अहीश जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविर कै सकय कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राज दीना तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जा युग सहस्त्र योजन पर भानु लीलो ताहि दुर्पल जान प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही जल्दी लांग गए अचर जनाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगमय अनुग्रह तुम रे ते राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे हो तना क्या बिन पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपी तीहु लोक हाकते कापी भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनाव नाशय रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीर संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लाव सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे चारों युग पर ताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्धि जगत उजियार साधु संत के तुम रखवार असुर निकंदन राम दुलार अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुमरे पास सदा रहो रघुपति के दास तुमरे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाए जहाँ जन हरि भक्त कहाय और देवता चितना डरहि हनुमत से सर्व सुख करहि संकट कटे मिटे सब पीर जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीर जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई जो शत बार पात कर कोई छूत ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पर हनुमान चलीसा हो ये सिद्धि सा की गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महाडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहिता हृदय बसहु सुरभो बोलो बजरंग बली की जय पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय 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 सीताराम. Devotees, once again with the blessings of Sri Ram, we bring this program to an end, and now I will stop sharing and greet each and every one of you. Please stay. I would like to thank all of you wonderful devotees. I would like to thank Auntie Savi and Nilesh. I would like to thank my brother Clarence. I know him as Basivji. I would like to thank my Didi Esther Rupnarayanji. I would like to thank my Bhaiya Fidelji. I would like to thank Harish and Lakshmiji. I would like to thank Hema Namaste Di. I would like to thank Ken and Auntie Savitri. I would like to thank Kiran. I would like to thank wonderful devotee Leslie Ji. I would like to thank Shirley, our guest. I would like to thank Vipin Ji. Vipin, namaste. So delighted to see you. I would like to thank my sister Dora. Dora, it's a long time we haven't seen you. We hope you're well and we pray all is well. So devotees, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva. Tvameva Bandhus Jasaka Tvameva. Tvameva Vidya Dravinang Tvameva. Tvameva Sarvang Mama Deva Deva. May that Almighty Lord energize each and every one of you, and may all of you live a happy, a peaceful, and a prosperous life. And now what we will do, we will end, and I would like to just like to say thank you and to just read devotee says thank you so much. So once again, it's nice to have some feedback. But Boliye Jagadambe Mata Ki Jai, and I remind all of you that Devi Jagadambe 9 nights starts on Monday night. Pitri Paksha finishes on Sunday. So let's continue to offer dedication to our 4 parents or our parents who have gone to get their blessings. Devotees, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om Lakshmi and Gauri Ji once again.